And as I already mentioned in the stories on Instagram and on YouTube before, I'll be reviewing another classic, and it is the Porsche 911 Carrera, and this one is from 1995. A great year because it was a short period of time where they built, I think it was from 94 to 98. The 993 model all had air-cooled engines, and obviously these are the last of them. So they're quite a sought after car. And of course, yeah, it's a Porsche. Look, it's a Porsche. It's a great car to have. And so yeah, today I'm testing one out. And as you can hear, I'm in one. I've just kind of approached onto the Autobahn. And I've had it for a couple of hours already today, just to kind of get familiar with it. And that sense of nostalgia, of course, is obviously there. And it's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. Of course, being a classic means it's an older car. You know, this is like 20 to 30 years of age. So you don't kind of mistreat these cars. You know, you don't slam it around. You don't throw it into corners. And I'm sure as hell not going to put the pedal to the metal and, you know, see what it's got. You got to maintain a little bit of respect for some of these classics, you know, if you want them to stay in great condition. And this car is in fantastic condition. I was lucky enough to get this from my friend Simon, who has a couple of Porsches. And of course, yeah, I thought I'd relieve him of this one and review today. And this one's a great one. This one's finished in a dark brown with a beige interior, all leather front and back, and of course the seats at the back are hardly suitable for any full-size adult to sit in. Kids, okay, yes, but you also have the option to actually drop the seats down and just create a little bit more storage, which is also a cool option, really. But this is really a two-seater car. This car is for, you know, if you've bought it and you really wanted the classic, then this is just something for you to cruise in, maybe on the weekends, maybe on your day off. One thing I like about this car, actually, it's the standard as it rolled out to the factory. 272 horsepower, 3.6 litre monster, and the sound, I mean, that Porsche sound is just still there. It just sounds fantastic, really. Obviously the engine being in the rear, and you know, it's such a small car, and you're quite close to everything. You can hear that engine. I don't need the radio. I don't want the radio on. I like the sound of that. The only thing that you do check on, of course, because when you're driving a car that's this old, it's like, okay, let's check the gauges. Are the gauges accurate? Are they fine? Are they giving the right readings? And obviously this is a well looked after car. Everything is working perfectly fine. And so in the meantime, I always will be checking them and making sure that, you know, I ain't squeezing too much, I ain't doing too little. You can see me probably bouncing around in here. Of course, it's a Porsche 911, you know, it's not an SUV, and so you're very close to the ground. It's sitting on these 17-inch rims. The brakes are fantastic. They're still the original Porsche brakes. They're huge and they're doing a great job. So for me, I'm feeling pretty secure. And I'm still bouncing. I'm on the Autobahn and I'm bouncing away, but bouncing away in comfort, you know, bouncing away and feeling good about it. That's a rare thing. You can see the instrument panel here, all analog. This is very typical of the Porsche 911. Even today, where they have a lot of digital displays on today's Porsches, they still maintain and keep a lot of the analog dials. Like the clock, for instance, you'll always find that, and you can see that here. Some of the functions that you have down here, obviously the automatic Triptonic gearbox, You've got the option to be able to raise the rear spoiler, which will come up automatically at 60 miles an hour or 100 kilometers an hour. And then you have the sunroof, and then the window wipers at the rear. What a great drive, what a great car this has been. Fantastic to drive. Hasn't really let me down at all. It's actually lived up to expectations. Driving it on the Autobahn, I was able to see exactly how stable this car is. Of course, you have the massive big wing here, absolutely huge. That will bring some downforce and stability at high speeds. And today we got to test a bit of that, and actually works really well. Superb, absolutely superb car. If you're one of these people that are in the market for a classic supercar, as long as you get a good one that's being looked after, one that's got this full service history, you can get yourself a really good buy.